Started streaming. And move my mic a little closer here. Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I have my keyboard in front of me, and I'm a little bit further away from the mic. Let's see if you guys can hear. That should work there perfectly. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to all the new people that have subscribed over the past couple weeks. I haven't posted in a few days. The Eddie Van Halen, Eddie passing really kicked me in the gut. And I've been watching a lot of interviews with him, actually. Watched one today that was an hour long, and just there's some great stuff out there, really, on YouTube. Really great stuff. A lot of great comments on my Stairway to Heaven video, too. I appreciate that from everyone. I'm sorry I can't respond to many. I did not know Eddie. I saw Van Halen play, but I've never... I saw Van Halen play, oh geez, in the 80s, in the late 80s in New York. And I saw Eddie on the street in Soho one time, believe it or not, with my old band. Eddie was walking across the street in Soho, and Darren, the drummer from our band, was like, "Oh my God, it's Eddie Van Halen!" And I looked over, and he was right there, right on the passenger side of the van. It was that's as close as I ever got to Eddie. Was that? Okay, so you saw from the title. Those of you that are new to the channel, this is we talk about all different types of things related to music. It's a learning channel. Today is going to be a lecture on music theory. We do this a lot here in my live streams. I'm going to talk about modes, but I'm talking about modal voicings, things like that. As you can see with my new setup, I have the piano on the screen so you can see what I'm playing. The discount code for today's live stream is RB500. It's 50% off my Beato Book YouTube Instagram transcription bundle. So it's a huge PDF that's 675 pages or so. And it has everything that I'm talking about in it, that I'm talking about in here on this video today. So for further reference, that's really the reference guide for most of my videos and the things that I talk about on my channel. And you guys know that I talk a lot about modes on here. But this is actually great because I've never been able to demonstrate it this way, where you can actually see the piano on the screen. This took a while to kind of figure this out, even though the technology's been there. By the way, too, for ear training, it's 30% off my ear training course, my Beato ear training course. Same discount code, RB500. So if you want to improve your ear and you want to learn more about music, go to my website at rickbeato.com. You can find these things. Okay, let's talk about modes again. For those of you that have heard me talk about modes on many videos, this will be a refresher, but the visualization of it, it's going to help here. A mode is a subset of a scale. There are really 5 major scale types. And I say major, I don't mean the major scale, but there are 5 scale types that produce modes that we commonly use. The major scale, which is the most common, the melodic minor scale, the harmonic minor scale, the harmonic major scale, which is more you'd find people in progressive rock like Alan Holdsworth or in modern classical music, and the double harmonic major scale, which is even more esoteric but has some great sounds. I have videos on every one of these scales. I have specific videos. If you look up, just type in harmonic major on my channel and videos will come up. You type in double harmonic major, videos will come up. You type in any mode, videos will come up. You type in Dorian, Phrygian, Locrian, doesn't matter. I have videos for all these things. But what's great about this is this I think will make people become aware of these things. Let's get right to it here. We're going to talk about the modes of C major to start. Now, this, or let's say I do it up here, this is a C major scale. There are 7 white notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Okay, so that is also known as C Ionian. Now, all the modes related to C Ionian, or the key of C major, the modes of C major, think of it as a loop, okay? The second set of modes is Dorian. So I just moved everything up a step, and I started with D here, right? This is D Dorian. That would be 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. And we'll talk about these specifically in a minute here. The next one would be Phrygian, E Phrygian. So E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Then we have F Lydian. It's just a subset of C major. It's C major starting on F is F Lydian. C major starting on G is G Mixolydian. That's the 5th mode. It starts on the 5th scale degree, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mixolydian always starts in the 5th scale degree of a major scale. So this G Mixolydian would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, back to 1. Then you have Aeolian. This would be A Aeolian because it starts on the note A and it's all the notes of C major. So these modes, if you start on A and play all the notes of C major, it's A Aeolian. And I'll explain why this actually means something in a minute. And then the last mode would be starting on the 7th degree, which would be Locrian. So this is B Locrian, from B to B in a C major scale, right? So C to C in a C major scale is C Ionian. D to D in a C major scale is D Dorian. So Dorian's the 2nd mode. Phrygian is the 3rd mode. Lydian is the 4th mode. Mixolydian is the 5th mode. Aeolian is the 6th mode. Locrian is the 7th mode. And then you're back to Ionian. Okay? Now, how do you use these things? Well, you could say, well, okay, let's say we're in the key of C here, right? C major. If I go to the 4 chord in the key of C, F major, that would be the mode that you would play over it. Well, you could just say, well, why don't you just play in C major? Yeah, you can do that. It's probably easier to do that, okay? Where modes come in is when you actually create vocabulary related to particular chords. For example, if I have a C major chord, right? Let's say I play it like this. If I play this note, oh, that's part of Mixolydian. I could play this. Right there, that's a Mixolydian sound. Why? Because it has a flat 7. All the other notes are white notes. That means it's part of C major, but this note comes from F major, that B flat. That gives you the flat 7. That is a Mixolydian sound right there. That would be a C Mixolydian chord. If I played this, that would be a C Lydian chord, because this note, I have all white notes, but that F sharp comes from the key of G. That sharp 4, that is a Lydian sound. I would call that a Lydian chord voicing, okay? These are different modes. If I added this, if I played this, I'd have to add that there, but let's say I played this. This is actually from Lydian augmented, okay? Well, if I put that note in there too, you say, wow, C, E, then I have A, B, then I have E there and G sharp. This would be a Lydian augmented chord sound, okay? Because I can put the sharp 4 in there. So I got the sharp 4 and sharp 5. Lydian augmented is a major scale with a sharp 4 and a sharp 5. Okay, that's the 3rd mode of the melodic minor scale. But we're going to stick with the major scale here for a minute. If you listen to film composers, John Williams, Thomas Newman, James Newton Howard, Hans Zimmer, you name it. All the famous film composers use these modes. Lydian is probably the most common mode that you used to hear in film music, and you'd hear things like this. So that is a Lydian sound there. I played a C major, then I played D major over C. That's D major, right? That is a quintessential film scoring Lydian sound right there, D major over C. But really the important thing is that one note, that one black note there, the F sharp, is the note that is the raised fourth from C, right? 1 and the sharp 4. If you memorize the formulas of these scales, right? Ionian is just 1 through 8, major scale. Dorian is a major scale with a flat third and a flat 7. Phrygian is a major scale with a flat 2, flat 3, flat 6, and flat 7. Lydian is a major scale with a sharp 4. Mixolydian is a major scale with a flat 7. Aeolian is a major scale with a flat third, flat 6, and flat 7. And Locrian is a major scale with a flat 2, flat 3, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7. Okay, so if I take a C major scale and I want to make it a C Dorian scale, I flat the third and flat the 7. Flat third, flat 7. That is C Dorian. These are what we call parallel modes. So you just take one tonic and you create all the modes by just memorizing what those different scale steps are. So C major is 1 through 8. To get a Dorian scale, you flat the third. This is another way of thinking of modes. I showed you how they work as a tape loop, right? Where you start with one tonic and then you move to each successive note of the scale. C major, D Dorian, E Phrygian, F Lydian, G Mixolydian, A Aeolian, B Locrian. Or how you start on one tonic and create all the different modes, parallel modes, based on that single tonic, okay? By the way, all this is in my book. The discount code is RB500, 50% off my 675-page PDF that has all this theory in there. If you want to support the channel, it's a great way of doing it too. It's about the cost of half of a lesson that you would take, but you can work on this stuff for about 30 years and not learn it all. Okay, so if I want to make the Dorian scale once again with the tonic C, I flat the third. There's a flat third, right? This would be a natural third. That's a flat third. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, back to 1. Phrygian is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7. Then Lydian is 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, right? 5, 6, 7. Mixolydian 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. Aeolian 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. And then Locrian 1, 2, flat, 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7, back to 1. Okay? Now, if I want to do something like, say, if I say, okay, let's identify some modal sounds. Okay, if I played a voicing like this, and I have this note, da, da, you can say, okay, we can use that with a flat 2, da, da, or natural 2. I don't have that note in there to describe it, but if I put it in there, if I do that, da, 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 so I just sang that scale. That scale, that chord voicing there describes an Aeolian, a C Aeolian chord right there. So there's really no other scale I could sing. Da, 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 da. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. You hear that, right? It's a beautiful sound. That's an Aeolian chord. I can move it down here to F. it's just, to me, it's, ooh, that's so nice. Or that's more open sounding. That dissonance kind of closes in the sound a little bit. Or, of course, with that, I don't know if it's Aeolian, but I could go like this and voice it like this. Whoops, I'm sorry. I could put the well, I have to put the ninth in there, so I could go up here and put the ninth in. So if I go, the thing is, I can't hold the sustain pedal. It doesn't hold the notes down. We haven't figured that out yet. Aaron was trying to help me figure that out before we started, because I want to be able to play this and then have the notes. So I'm trying to reach and play those things, but it can't do it. Anyways, so that would be an Aeolian sound. If I say, okay, what would a Phrygian sound be? Well, a Phrygian sound, this would be, let's say, E Phrygian. Well, what do I have here? I have, I have F major over E. That would be a great Phrygian sound there. I could do that too. A Phrygian sound you can get by using a major triad a half step above the root of a chord. So if I have, F sharp over F would be F Phrygian, right? If I'm on C, I could go D flat over C, could really be, that would be a Phrygian chord there, okay? So each one of those chords I just played has an associated scale with it. Those are all modal chords. When you think about modal chords, I talked about this last week in my live stream, or whenever it was. Yeah, last weekend. Talked about, using the Dorian mode and things like that Miles Davis would use, or McCoy Tyner, or people like that. Basically, what that's doing is you're playing chords or playing scales that describe a particular chord. Okay, if I play a line, let's say I'm doing let's say I've got D minor, right? So here's my D minor chord. So really, a Dorian line could be anything, right? Anything could be anything. Any of these white notes would be a Dorian line. If I add in any chromatic note, then that's not really a Dorian sound, right? But a Dorian sound could be anything, even coming up with voicings, right? If I played, those would all be Dorian voicings. Anything that has D in the bass and beautiful sound, right? Those are all Dorian sounds. Okay. So the trick here is simply to memorize the what you do to a major scale to get each individual note. And there is no shortcut to this. I always talk about this stuff, that there's no shortcuts to the basic memorization. And as far as usage of modes, all the modes of the major scale you pretty much need to know. Okay, even Locrian. People, Locrian, blah, blah, blah. In the melodic minor scale, you really need to know, the basic ones to know are melodic minor, because that goes over minor, major, seventh chords. You need to know Lydian augmented, because that's actually not an uncommon scale. Mixolydian sharp 4, or Lydian dominant, which is what you play over dominant 7 chords with a sharp 4. And Locrian natural 2, that's actually not uncommon. That would be over half diminished chords. And then the altered dominant scale. Altered dominant scale is very, very common. It's commonly used over dominant chords. Let's say I have a C7 chord. That is a C altered dominant scale. 1, 2, flat 3, natural 3. But really, it's 1, flat 9, sharp 9, major third, sharp 4, sharp 5, flat 7. Or you could say 1, flat 2, flat 3, flat 4, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7, back to 1, right? Okay, that's an altered dominant scale. That is used, you commonly hear those kind of voicings, right? That's used as a dominant chord right there. That would be a C7, sharp 9, sharp 5. That is a very common, I don't know why it's not holding down the blue notes there. That's a very common voicing for a dominant 7th, altered dominant chord. That if I hold down that chord, listen. You can hear that. You hear the sound. I play the chord. You can hear that scale. Beautiful sound, right? It's got the sharp 9, the flat 9, the sharp 5, and the flat 5. It has all the alterations. That's why it's called the altered scale. Some people call it the Super-Locrian mode. Some people call it the diminished whole tone. When I was a kid, I learned it in high school from my guitar teacher, Glenn. He called it the diminished whole tone scale. Then my next teacher in college, Steve, called it the altered dominant scale. But then I started meeting people and everybody called it Super-Locrian. I was like, wait, I thought it was diminished whole tone. Anyways, some of these things have multiple names. You just have to know what they are, you know? But the common ones to use that you'll use in your everyday playing are the modes of the major scale. Those are the most important ones to learn. And what you do is you put them, you collect them together. There are major type modes, there are minor type modes, basically, in the major scale. The major modes are Ionian, Lydian, and Mixolydian, because they all have a major triad in them, okay? So if I have a C major chord, I can play the C major scale or C Ionian mode. You'll see these 3 notes are in the scale. C Lydian still has C major in it, and then C Mixolydian. Right? All those chords, which are built on the 1, 4, and 5, right? Totally makes sense. If you think about a major key, there are major chords built on 1, 4, and 5. Minor chords are built on 2, 3, and 6, right? Well, those are the minor modes, 2, 3, and 6. Dorian, Phrygian, Aeolian. And then you have Locrian, which works over half diminished chords. A half diminished chord would be a minor 7 flat 5. Like a C half diminished would be this. So C, this is like a C Locrian scale, right? So that's the scale that works over that chord, okay? You guys can hear that, right? When you hear this, you can hear that chord scale works over that particular chord. And so this is where modes are important. Modes are important because these are the chord scales that work with particular modes in a key. So another way to think of this is the Ionian mode goes with the 1 chord. The Dorian mode goes with the 2 chord. Phrygian goes with 3. Lydian goes with 4. Mixolydian goes with 5, and so on and so forth. So that is really how modes work together and why they are important. I think that personally, I think of modes as being able to recognize them is great for your ear. I highlight them in my ear training course. Modes are a big thing. You can identify, you can recognize linear things really easily if you recognize modes, if you understand modes. When I hear a film score and somebody's doing a Dorian sound, it's very obvious to me. If somebody's playing an Aeolian sound, it's very obvious. If somebody's playing a Lydian sound, very obvious. I immediately recognize it. I hear the sound. I hear the lines associated with it. And I'll show you. Let's say I have a voicing like this. I'll use the same. This is an F Aeolian voicing because F in the bass. It has a flat 6. Okay, if I did, let's say I went like this. This would be an F Dorian sound because I used the natural 6 there. Here's Aeolian, Dorian. Let me add that 9th in there. That would be Aeolian. This would be Dorian. Great sound. Dorian. Aeolian. Dorian. Right? I could add this note F in there. Aeolian. Oh, that's intense. Dorian. Beautiful sound though, right? You guys hear that? I just love that. You could voice it like that. It's a more open Dorian sound. Love it. You don't know it's Dorian until I hit that. There's your Aeolian. There's your Dorian. Love that sound, right? Really beautiful. Anyways, so all this stuff is in my book. You go to rickbeato.com. You can find it. My PDF, my Beato book, and YouTube, Instagram transcription bundle. If you guys, I did that guitar where I did the Stairway to Heaven solo. I have a lot of guitar playing on my Instagram. I post new things every day there that are guitar related. Just little simple 1-minute lessons that I call quick lessons. Those are in the Instagram transcription bundle. I have about 30 of them or so. And that's part of this bundle that's for sale. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it's at rickbeato1. But I post there every single day. And it's amazing that it's a totally separate group of people that follow me. I know a lot of you follow me from here, but my Instagram is actually more guitar focused. And I know that everybody liked or most people liked the Stairway to Heaven video, and I'm going to be doing more in that series. You know, the thing about posting it a day before Eddie passed, I'd had my part and Phil's part done for about a month, and I was waiting for Eric's part, and Eric sent it to me the day before I posted it. So I couldn't believe it. Anyways, RB 500, 50% off my YouTube Beato book, Instagram transcription bundle, 675 page PDF. Ear training course, RB 500, 30% off that. That's you can find that through my website too. That will test you on hearing all this kind of stuff. This is really important for doing this. There is no substitute for having a great ear, period. End of story. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. Welcome to all the new people that have followed the channel over the past couple weeks. It's great to have you here. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.